The readings for Saturday, June 10th. The epistle reading is from St. Paul's letter to the Romans, chapter 1, verses 7 through 12. To all who are in Rome, beloved of God, called to be saints, grace to you and peace from God our Father and the Lord Jesus Christ. First, I thank my God through Jesus Christ for you all, that your faith is spoken of throughout the whole world. For God is my witness, whom I serve with my spirit in the gospel of his Son, that without ceasing I make mention of you always in my prayers, making request of it by some means, now at last I may find a way in the will of God to come to you. For I long to see you, that I may impart to you some spiritual gift, so that you may be established. That is, that I may be encouraged together with you by the mutual faith, both of you and me. All right. It's the first time I think we've ever done a reading that is essentially just a greeting. he's just saying hello at the start of his letter. Well, let's hit some footnotes for it, see if we can dig deeper. This is for verse 7. The phrase called to be saints refers to the present time. It is not something limited to the future. In the New Testament, all who are true Christians are saints, even while they live. See the footnote at chapter 16, verse 1 and 2. See also Ephesians chapter 1, verse 1, chapter 3, verse 8, Philippians chapter 1, verse 1, Colossians chapter 1, verse 2, 2 Thessalonians chapter 1, verse 10, and Jude chapter 3. From among all the saints, meaning those quote-unquote set apart to God, the Church canonizes or glorifies certain exemplary saints as having lived such dedicated and faithful lives that they are worthy for us to follow and imitate, as noted in 1 Corinthians chapter 11, verse 1. It also says to see the footnote at Acts chapter 9, verse 32. For verses 8 through 12, St. Paul shows pastoral concern for the Roman Christians, even though he was not the founder of the church at Rome. He thanks God for them, in verse 8, prays always for them daily, in verse 9, and longs to see them, as noted in verse 11. And for verse 11, Paul had not yet visited Rome when he wrote this letter. This epistle contains the core of apostolic doctrine, essential for the foundation of a local community. For this reason, the Church reads Romans immediately following Pentecost, the reason in which we celebrate the spread of the gospel from Jerusalem to the ends of the world. The gospel reading is from the book of Matthew, chapter 5, verses 42 through 48. Give to him who asks you, and from him who wants to borrow from you, do not turn away. You have heard that it was said, you shall love your neighbor and hate your enemy. But I say to you, love your enemies, bless those who curse you, do good to those who hate you, and pray for those who spitefully use you and persecute you, that you may be sons of your Father in heaven. For he makes his sun rise on the evil and on the good, and sends rain on the just and the unjust. For if you love those who love you, what reward have you? Do not even the tax collectors do the same? And if you greet your brethren only, what do you do more than others? Do not even the tax collectors do so? Therefore, you shall be perfect, just as your Father in heaven is perfect. All right, one of Christ's teachings that most people still grapple with 2,000 years later. You know, like that's hard. Love your enemy. Let's go through some footnotes from the Orthodox Study Bible. So, okay, here we go. For verses 44 through 47. Freed from hate, sadness, and anger, we are able to receive the greatest virtue, perfect love. The love of enemies is not merely an emotion, but includes decision and action. It is to treat and see our enemies as the closest members of our own family. See 1 John chapter 4, verses 7 through 21. And for verse 48, the summary statement of all that has preceded. The Christian can indeed grow in the perfection of the Father, as noted in Ephesians chapter 4, verse 13. See also the article Deification at 2 Peter chapter 1. Once again, guys, I'll get around to uploading some of the extra biblical articles that are in the Orthodox Study Bible, which is shown by... Let me read this sentence back without the citations here. The Christian can indeed grow in the perfection of the Father, which is shown by imitating his love and mercy. Compare to Luke chapter 6, verse 36. Well, that's it, everybody. Hope you have a marvelous day. Happy weekend. Don't squander it. Try to get your buns into church at least once, hopefully for liturgy. And, yeah. Check back here tomorrow for Sunday's readings if you wish. Otherwise, please pray for me, a sinner. It would be very appreciated. Have a good day.